Hey everyone, this is Blade Ninja 009, and this is my 12th review, and that is of Rahxephon. Rahxephon is a very interesting anime, in that the main concept is a lot about mecha, but at the same time it doesn't do the usual mecha concepts. And what I mean by that, I know I kind of contradict myself what I said earlier, but it is like if you see the cover of this right away, you see a giant robot. No surprise there, it's mecha. But it doesn't focus solely on mecha fights or giant robot space battles. It kind of focuses on something more personal and kind of interesting. The main character of this story is actually living in Japan, but at the same time, he doesn't realize that he's actually living in a part of Japan that's been closed off from the rest of the world. And when he actually ends up by accident breaking through the barrier by entering this giant robotic like creature, he actually realizes that the other side of the world has been going on with time, while his time in his world has been slowed down to a crawl. So I'm not exactly sure on the exact time difference. They'd say it once in the early show, but I think like 1 month is equivalent to almost a year passing in the real world, or the excuse me, outside the barrier. And that leads to our main character having to deal with a lot of things of not knowing what to do now, that he not only has to fight, with this giant weird creature, but he has to fight an alien race that seems to be hell-bent on secluding the earth or destroying it. He doesn't know where the line is. This is an older anime. It's I think it's around 2005 or 6, and I'll tell you right now, it's one of those series that holds up very well even now. It's still beautifully done. The art, the voice acting is great. The story is very, very good, and I dig the whole how they kind of shy away from the mecha concepts in lieu of more about the characters themselves, rather than giant space battles or these robots kick ass. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I love stuff like that once in a while too, but it's nice to see something kind of shy away from the usual norm of a trope that is embedded in our society. That you know, robots are cool and all. They you do see them fighting in most things that I mean, Pacific Rim, for example, Gundam G. You see robot fights. I'm just saying that it's nice how this show has to deal with that, but doesn't do it all the time. It's very similar to Evangelion in the concept that Evangelion also has giant robots, but it's not the sole focus on the show. It's more the entertainment value. Rahxephon's plot is very good. The story is very good. My probably only concern with it is it's I don't want to say the ending's not that great. It's just the ending's forgettable. And that's kind of odd to say because when you hear the ending's supposed to be forgettable, it's kind of odd. It doesn't sound like it's correct, but it's one of those series that just when it ends, it ends. I'd say there's closure, but at the same time, I felt like it could have done a little more. And there is a movie for Rahxephon, and I'll read that really fast. It's essentially the same as the anime in scope, but the storyline is completely different. And I advise that if you watch either one of the two, watch first the actual anime. Now watch the movie. The movie's very good. Don't get me wrong. It doesn't have anything to do with the anime. But I think having a scope of understanding what the characters are and what their whole positions are and certain things makes the movie a little better. Because while the movie doesn't do the same thing as the anime, it does have its own set of plot and all that. It's more enjoyable when you know what the characters are all about, because it doesn't go into detail as much as the anime does. It tends to just focus on, any other movie. It has a beginning point and end point. And if I had to grade this A through F, personally, I want to say A minus. I really want to lean there, but being unbiased, mind you, because I do try to strive for that, I'm gonna give this a B plus. Rahxephon is a great anime. It has probably and I'll tell you right now, has one of the most emotional scenes of any anime. I think actually, if you ever see on YouTube in general, people doing top 10 emotion scenes from any anime, it's usually on there because of just how impactful it is. But at the same time, Rahxephon is one of those things that if you're into the whole mecha genre, you might look at it and go, well, I don't know if I want to watch this, and that's a shame. It really is. But it doesn't sell itself as anything but a mecha, and that kind of kills, I think, its own pacing. Like I would believe that Rahxephon would have did a lot better back in its day when it actually came out. That it's right away said, hey, listen, this is not all mechs. This is other concepts. But nowadays people are a little more biased when it comes to things that aren't focused on solely what they want to be focused on. And I'm not gonna say that no one appreciates different tropes, trope changes and stuff like that, but it's a little hard to present itself as anything but a mecha when it's essentially a mecha. But anyways, this is the end of the review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is not a fan requested video. I know I said my previous video that the next day I would be doing that, but it's just more so. This will probably be uploaded the day after that request video. But anyways, guys, until next time, until our paths cross in the next review.